This is Sippin' with Sammy. I am Mr. Fly Shit Only, the one and only Sippin' with Sammy. Sam Malone, Barstool Rug. If you ain't sippin' with Sammy, you ain't sippin' right. Please get your fucking life together. Yup. What's up with y'all, man? Happy Wednesday. It's past happy hour. I came on a little late this evening. But how's everybody? Hopefully everybody is well. Hopefully everybody's day was decent. Everybody's family is safe, secure, and well fed, and hopefully going to bed. But what's up with y'all? It's been a little bit. Had to come through here. Actually had a interesting weekend. And on top of that, there's been a million and one things going on in the Sammosphere that, I haven't addressed on here yet. So what's up with y'all? What y'all want to talk about? I want to start off first and foremost by shouting out my mom and dad. They had their 50th wedding anniversary this weekend. Give them a big hand. Salute to my sister, my mom's homegirls, as she called them, and everybody that made it possible. It was a beautiful occasion. My mom brings them out. She throws parties on the porch like nobody's business. So this year, she actually wound up having about 7 patios in a row, including their sidewalks and the parking spaces. Hey, what's happening? Involved in her celebration. So there was 2 bars, one at one end and one at the other end. There was a space for a DJ. There was a dance floor. There was random seating everywhere, including the street. And everybody had a good time. It was plenty of food. Shout out to Brotherly Grub. They came through with the taco truck. So, gave out tacos for a few hours. And it was amazing. We had a great time. Oh, they saying they can't hear me. Can you hear me, Kay? Kay. My bad. Sorry for the technical look. They saying they can't hear me. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. What are they saying? Let's get the audio together. Hold on one second. We're going to get it together. Now I can hear. I didn't touch anything. They just said now I can hear? Yeah. So we good? All right, cool. So, appreciate you. Everybody had a great time. Mom and dad. It's funny because for their 50th anniversary, even though it was organized and a lot of people, a lot of working hands, because there was plenty of people helping out, it seems like they were working too, because they constantly had to accept the praise and the love and all of that, so they didn't get to really relax. And I think for the last couple of days they've been relaxing. I saw them today, and they said they've been going out to dinner and all of that stuff and spending the gift cards on the meals. So that's dope. But once again, salute mom and dad. 50 year anniversary. They had a shindig, and it was a doozy. Give them a big hand.
You're whispering because you're not talking to anybody, so you're talking softer than usual.
So yeah, that was this weekend. Also this weekend, we went to the Danny Rumpf tournament. Salute to Danny Rumpf. Rest in peace. Shout out my man Mike Morak. Salute to my guy Fletch, man. Fletch made sure that I was situated all weekend. If I asked for anything, he just popped up. So shout out to them. 20 years of the Danny Rumpf tournament. It is a blessing to see. Give him a big hand. So my parents' event, their 50th, was on Saturday. So I went Friday. I missed Thursday. I went Friday and I went Sunday. Both days, I saw incredible games, competitive games that came damn near down to buzzer beaters for each and every one of them. Even the female game, the finals game that I saw on Sunday was crazy. One one thing for sure, two things for certain. The Danny Rump tournament is something that if you from uptown, you take pride in. We all feel like it's our own because a lot of us, most of us, all of us knew Danny and remember the inception of the tournament and remember the meager beginnings that we had. And so I was just checking the audio real quick. So when we go there, it's exciting. It's something to see how far it's come. Yo, what's that? Lasterno Western? What's up with you, bro? But no, it's exciting to see how far Mike and Sharif and a lot of other people, both Sharifs and a lot of other people have taken this thing and made sure that Danny's legacy, Danny's foundation, and his honor, and all of those things are honored. To see the sponsors on the back of the shirts every year grow and become more and more major, uh, it's just amazing. And on top of that, they provide an environment where if you ever hooped in a city, it's like a family reunion. It's like you see everybody, or you just see randoms you haven't seen in a while, and it's love. Like I had people walk across the court after I was there for a whole game and speak to me and say, "Yeah, I saw you come in," and I was like, "Oh shit, is that the illest nigga in Nebraska?" That's what my one man literally said. Shout out to Kyle, that's my guy. And things of that nature. I see people that I see doing big things. Shout out to Isaiah. Isaiah Thomas was there. Somebody that's a political figure in the city that we all grew up with, playing ball with, hanging out with, all of that. So it was dope. It was really, really dope. The intensity of these games don't get any lighter. Nobody is trying to lose. One thing that was interesting is if you know anything about the Danny Rump tournament, you know that South Philly usually goes pretty deep, usually either in the finals or win the finals. And they lost on Friday night, and it wasn't pretty. It was a tight game. Refs could have been a little better. Hi, bro. Said hi. Yo, Fred. Okay. Yeah, so refs could have been a little bit better, but the game was down to the wire and they lost. And what was interesting is like you always look forward to seeing South Philly on Saturday or Sunday when they all come out over the weekend and they deep as hell in there and it's really exciting. And we didn't get that this year, but the teams that went to the finals was actually dope as hell. Um, I don't know the names. I could look up all of that, but that's not really the important factor to the weekend. Shout out to everybody that participated. Shout out to my sister Zarina. She did a presentation at halftime on Sunday of one of the games where she presented Danny's family with a portrait of Danny, and it was fire portrait. The presentation was awesome, and that's what she do. I told somebody at the game, I said if somebody in this city die and she get word of it, she's next to them like Al Sharpton. Like she shows up. She's been through her own tragedy, and she's made it her mission to bring comfort to people that are going through these tragic situations. And Danny, for those that don't know, died of a heart complication. So he has a heart foundation that is in his name, an organization that is in his name that is related to such research and resources to his cause. And me personally, I know I never said this online. I remember the exact day and time that Danny passed. And for anybody that was in my age group range, not even my direct age group, but anybody that was paying attention to what was going on, knew that Danny had a bright future. He had the Western Kentucky situation when he was going to school, but he passed at Mallory, which is part of why it's called the Danny Rump Center now, on a day where I was working at Finley, which is a mile away from each other for people that don't know. And we was at Finley and we was talking trash and kicking it or whatever have you. No, it might have been games at Finley. It was some reason we was at Finley. And everybody from Mallory, all of the guys was coming through, and we couldn't figure out why they was there. And nobody was happy. And then somebody told us that Danny had just passed. And I just remember the look on all of his best friends and homeboys and teammates' faces. Um, So to see what it's become is amazing. Shout out to Mike, like I said. Shout out to the Sharifs, everybody, anybody that's included in making the Rump Classic a thing. It's been 20 years of excellence, prominence. It came from that little gym to what Arcadia, LaSalle, now Drexel. Like it's a big deal, and it's successful. And as aggressive as these games are, and as physical and as competitive as these games are, it's all peace and love. I didn't even see half a scuffle. Not even reminiscences of a scuffle. People was getting dunked on. Everybody was talking crazy. People was moving at high rates of speed and crashing into each other. It was good basketball, and I enjoyed myself. So once again, salute to everybody that was involved and that has ever been involved in making sure that the world knows that Danny Rumpf was here. Was here, really. Noah, what's up, Noah? What's happening with you, Noah? Noah, stay solid. I appreciate you, homie. No, but I had a good weekend. Hopefully everybody else did. Y'all can leave it in the comments or drop it in the chat. Let me know what y'all got into. But I just wanted to tap in with y'all. I seen a lot of stuff going on, and I just been falling back. To be honest with y'all, I'm in between jobs right now. I got a couple offers on the table for a gig, so I just been running around and making sure I can handle what I can handle before I gotta get back to work, baby. I don't know if y'all know, but in Philly they got this thing that's going on right now where they done hijacked about 4, 5, 6 armored trucks in the last couple months. One which is not really far from me. I won't give the location because it's the safest place. The safest space is that it's been so many that you wouldn't even really realize where I'm at if I don't say it. So today they said they arrested 3 of those gentlemen. They say you can't knock the hustle, but that's not a hustle to me. And I don't know if these are the 3 gentlemen that they got today. They said they're all 30, 31 years old. I don't know if they're the ones that have committed all of the armed robberies of the armored cars recently, but I seen a couple videos of some of the things that happened and how it transpired, like the one that happened yesterday in broad daylight on Cheltenham Avenue, and it's dangerous as hell, yo. That is scary. That's very scary for 10:30 in the morning, right outside the grocery store, somebody to be having a gun on somebody while my grandmom is getting her groceries. Like, that is amazing. That is amazing. Working on a mixtape and album, Noah. I dig it. I love to hear that, man. More progress. See, every time you speak, you talk about progress. And I want you to realize that as long as every time you do that, we do this, you can do that, then you're doing something right. You're doing something right. But I just felt like, I don't know if y'all knew that was going on, but they apprehended 3 suspects that allegedly were part of the situation. And I guess they get into the bottom of it, but it's very weird in Philly right now. Y'all seen what's been going on in D.C. though. And the crazy thing is, I don't know if y'all know, I went to Morgan State University. I got a lot of connections and ties to D.C. and Baltimore, which a lot of people believe is next for the foolishness. But homie got the feds and cops and everybody running around acting crazy. They harassing people for drinking on a porch and arresting them. They out there acting crazy. And I know we not, see, the list is a bunch of cities that, you know, usual suspects, black mayors, black population, all of that. He always go at them kind of cities. But Philly ain't far behind it, so I'm just paying attention to what's going on right now. Because I remember the original Under Armour commercial. I should have put it on the soundboard, but we must protect this house. So we ain't playing no games, but it's really weird out here right now. Real weird. Let me know what y'all feel about that situation, because shout out to the Breakfast Club. I was watching Morgan this morning as somebody that's in the know, that has all the connections, that's boots on the ground in DC. She was saying it's not looking like positive. It's not looking, it's not making sense. A lot of things ain't making sense right now. So let's just pray for everybody out there that got to deal with this nonsense that is above their pay grade, has nothing to do with them, but you got people that's using them as pawns. They passed a law or some kind of legislation about homeless people a couple weeks back, and I told somebody, I said, you know, the prisons are empty right now. Not empty, but the rates are low, and that's across the country. That's my former job. Like the volume is down, and the way that they're going to fix that problem is not going to be to downsize. It is going to be to arrest homeless people. They're going to arrest disenfranchised, undocumented, unable to provide proof of documentation people to fill those jails. I said that. And next thing you know, they say that now they clearing out all the encampments in D.C. Where they putting them people at? Where are all these homeless people in D.C. about to go? To jail. To jail. Turn that down for me. That's what's going to happen. And it's sad. And what's happening is, and you know, everybody not in jail for nothing crazy. Some people just, you know, stumble, bump their head. But now the prisons are going to be flooded with people with mental health issues more than ever. People with hygiene issues more than ever. And it's going to look weird. It's going to look crazy, but they're going to get their coin, and that's all they care about. That's all they care about. So keep your eyes on what's going on out there and around the country, because there's a lot of foolishness happening right now, and it's looking like they heading towards making us Russia or something. I don't know what's going on. He beefing with Putin, but I a lot of times I feel like homie don't even be beefing with his homies. He just present a beef so that we'll back off of what they got going on, and then we'll find out the real play later. So keep it, keep your eyes open. Another thing over the weekend, I was actually prepping buffalo chicken dip, you know what I'm saying, for Mom Dukes and them situation. And I was listening to the Jid album, God Does Like Ugly. Let's do this for Jid. Now, just in case anybody's curious, I know it's JID. I feel like Jid makes it feel like I know him. And maybe that's an overstep, but the JID album was phenomenal. Straight through, no skips, all vibes. You didn't get tired of anything. You didn't look up one time and say, well, I don't know why that's there, but I'll take it. Like, none of that. All of the features were phenomenal. Everybody stepped up that was on there. The vocalist, and he has plenty of them throughout the album, probably about 4, 5, 6 vocalists. They all went crazy on the Jid album. It was exciting. It was good to see. It was what you expect. I heard Charlamagne talk about it, and he said when you get them conscious hood rappers from Atlanta and they make a project, you get a certain kind of project, and yeah, he falls into that category. The T.I.s, the Ludas, the Outkast, the Goody Mob. Like, you get certain things from people that got a brain down there that want to make a real project sometimes, and it was fire. It was fire. So shout out to JID for making what seems like it could possibly be a classic. And the only song that, I don't know how to put it, right? I don't want to say it didn't fit. It stood out as a different vibe from the rest of the album. So you start thinking about formatting, and then you like, well, shit, it was no better place to put it than where it was at. And the song I'm talking about is Skate with Earth Gang and Sierra on it. Awesome record. awesome record. Like I felt like I was in Atlanta at a skating rink listening to it, and my hands was messy, and I'm still doing the buffalo chicken salad thing, and you know all of that, and I'm like, damn, they got a bop to this, and Sierra is going crazy, like she never left the skating rink, like she's still in whatever year it was when she was new. And that song go bananas. And shout out to Charlamagne once again. He did tell Envy to play it because he said it should be on the radios, and I agree. But I think JID knew that that was a radio hit, but I don't think that was his intention of making it, because everything about this album tells me that he was doing whatever vibe he was on that, and we was going to have to deal with it. And I bang with that because that's what we always known about him. So shout out to JID for making a fire project. I will listen again, trust me. I actually have a long road trip ahead of me coming up soon, and I'm pretty sure that'll be part of the playlist. Pretty sure. It's a little loud. Yeah. So what else? I listened to Freddie Gibbs and Alchemist Pup, Alfredo 2. Listen to that. Fire. Fire. I was a little late on the Gibbs. But it was one of them things where, like I said, I was in the kitchen. And usually I'm listening to podcasts, so I don't really catch that much music. But I was in a music vibe, so I'm like, let me check out JID. Threw the JID on. And then I'm like, what else was I supposed to listen to? Oh, Freddie Gibbs. And he took me through the rest of my kitchen experience, which is ironic because it's Alfredo too. But whatever. Shout out to Gibbs, somebody that is rapping, and it don't matter what beat on, he's gonna rap through it. But one thing I found interesting was he threw a little dart at my guy Currency, and I ain't really understand it. And then I watched the interview. Yeah, no, that drone was fire. And then I watched the interview, and he was explaining that the project that him, Alchemist, and Currency put out, Fetty, with the yellow cover. He was saying that he felt like Currency was playing with him and industrying him and belittling him because he's from Indiana or whatever. You know, there's a little chip on his shoulder from being a big guy from a small town and usually feeling like he's being looked over. And I understood the sentiment, but if you listen to Currency explain how that project came about, he said Freddie approached him with it was probably like a couple years after they had talked about it, but this happens all the time with artists where we discuss, we need to do something together, and then, everybody's schedule gets crazy, and they both tour a lot, independently, I believe. So, he reached back out to Currency when he seen him, and he said, stop smoking, we need to get this project done. And Currency said that he felt like it was funny or like a little shot, like, not even on a super bad way, but he like, he act like we take over my mind so much that I can't record. So he said, I got a bag of that. Went to the stew, sent him 7 songs the next day. That's what he said. They said they recorded the project in 2 days. So Currency said, yes, I sent them 7. He sent me some back. I sent them back to him with my verses on it, and the project was done. Now, where Freddie is saying that the problem lies is there was no visual shot. There was no real rollout that Currency contributed to. And I believe there's a possibility that he might have wanted to hit the road with that project also. And I don't think that it says an error on the screen. I don't know why. I don't think that Currency intended to shortchange. I think that Currency's a hippie. Can you hear me? I think he's a hippie. And I think sometimes when you got hippie homeboys, you got to draw the diagrams sometimes. And be like, there's a yellow sign that said there's an error on the screen. So he might not have understood that that was the intention. And then part of it was Gibbs saying that he got the artwork done himself and he recruited Alchemist, and that was weird also because Alchemist and Currency have a great relationship. So it's not like he went through you to get Alchemist to produce the project. It was like that was the vision. And then you say you did the artwork, but I've seen the Fetty artwork and it's yellow and it says Fetty. You didn't like commission Chrome Hearts or Bape or somebody to create your artwork.
I think you're just giving some buffering.
You didn't even wind up with the you didn't use AI. Like it was just you basically used the Fire Festival model. What's gonna pop? What's gonna make somebody stop scrolling if they see this loud color and this bold print? And it worked. And the project was awesome because neither one of them dropped whack projects. So I think it's a misunderstanding. But I believe the part that gets crazy is that he feels like he was played with by somebody that he felt was a friend. And I don't think that Currency understood that until possibly this interview that he recently spoke on. So we'll see how that plays out because we want more music from them brothers. For sure. Like a Fetty 2 would be crazy. And like it's a no brainer. You don't have to think about it. Just go back and vibe again and get back to what y'all do great. Cause both of them are always prepared to get busy. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But I just thought that was interesting because I never really see Currency have a problem with nobody, and I still don't think he has a problem with nobody. I think that this is two men whose schedules just don't align. And if they're going to align, they need to be intentional about that happening, and they haven't done that yet. So there's just some conversations missing, is what I believe, honestly. Like they done skipped a couple combos. They should have had this conversation before somebody felt some type of way. But if I didn't know you was gonna feel some type of way, then you know it gets weird. But did y'all see what's going on with my man Cameron Killer? Cameron. Um, Cameron and Omar Gooding have been going back and forth, which is the most unlikely, weirdest drama I ever seen in my life. But Cam is that petty, and Omar is actually probably a little more solid than people gave him credit for. So what happens is, for people that don't know the backstory, Cam admitted that one day he was speaking on B and C list actors, and he used Omar Gooding as an example or a reference. And in doing so, he said Omar Gooding Jr. And Omar Gooding took offense to it or maybe thought he could make traction of it. Whatever the situation was, he said, I'm not Gooding Jr. My brother is Cuba Gooding Jr. My dad's name is Cuba. Cam kind of apologized for it. But Omar made a few diss records. And then Cam commented under the diss records. And it's been going back and forth and around we go. And most recently, well, part of the discourse was that Cam said he booked Omar before for a movie for a light fee. And Cam from Harlem, he liked to play the money games. Omar said it never happened. So Cam kind of took offense to that. Then they went back and forth a bit. And Cam decided, you know what? I'm going to book you for a fake movie. Make you sign the rights away to it. And then I'm going to expose you for being cheap, basically, to be booked. How do y'all feel about this? Like, honestly, like, the Yeah. No, I did see Cam and Gilly. We can get into that next. But how do y'all feel about the booking for the movie and all of that? Because Cam put it out and he showed the behind the scenes. He showed him laughing at him. He made fun of him about how his body was built. He did a lot, and it looked like checkmate to a lot of people, I believe. But then Omar responded and he said, "You paid me for a free trip to Miami to do a scene where I'm doing push-ups with my shirt off, which is basically with a tank top on. I appreciate you. Thank you. That was awesome." And in his response, it sounds like, well, a mature guy that knew what he signed up for. He knows that he took a $2,500, $3,000 payment for a day to do a cameo in whatever situation it was, and he was good with that. The response from Cam was basically, "Don't make me expose you. I still got the text messages of you crying." Now, I don't know text messages of crying, but he was saying it was from a day ago, so they were recent. So maybe we'll see that come out. But I don't feel like Cam really. And then his other message after that was he has a certain amount of money for Omar to finish the movie, and maybe he could co-star alongside of him again. And maybe I don't understand his level of stunting, but I don't see how keep paying me for my face is a win. Especially if I'm willing to accept whatever rate or whatever look comes along with it. Now, when these text messages come out, maybe they'll say something different, like he was trying to be cool on camera, but under pressure in the inbox and the DMs, like, "Yo, let me live." But I believe that when we see what that is, it's not going to be as explosive as you think it's going to be. I don't think this man has been in the industry since he was a child to just leave reminiscences in somebody's DM of panic. I think that before that happens, you probably refer to legal counsel. So we'll see what happens, but I don't think it's as good as a W as Cam thinks it is. Like, especially, and this is a lesson to people, like, sometimes you're going to have situations where it's about how you handle it. Look at Wildin' Out. You might not tell the best joke, but if you got the best reaction when you get joked on, people love you for that too. It's about how you handle it. How you handle it. Now, Noah was talking about Gilly and his situation with Cam Newton. Matter of fact,
You need to leave.
the Cam and Gilly situation, all the way crazy. Unless you know Gilly. And I ain't claiming to be besties with Gilly. I told people, I told him, I told them. When I was in high school and we was going to AAU practice and we was going to them tournaments, we was listening to the Major Figures mixtapes. And Gilly was one of the most dominant voices on those mixtapes and those projects, to the point where I remember explaining to my homies, like, y'all think Gilly the best because you hearing the most. Listen to Spade. Listen to Dutch. Listen to what Bump is doing. And the crazy thing is, they were so crazy that you could have picked your poison either way. But all that to say, Gilly has had a big personality for a long time. And he's had a strong opinion for a long time. And he's never changed. Ever. And it's gotten him this far. And it's gotten him to a point where in this industry, he's one of the ones at the top of the game. And in philanthropy and business motto, he's one of the ones at the top of the game. Him and Wallow. Like, they cooking. They doing a thing. But you'll never find a better representation of a diehard Philly fan than somebody like Gilly. We are one of those cities. Like I said earlier, Freddie Gibbs took it personal because he from somewhere that he feel like isn't on the map. Philly been on the map a long time, but we always feel like the little brother. There's always New York that's 2 hours away. And they the big dogs. That's where the big buildings is. That's where the label deals is. That's where the lights is. That's where the garden is. All of that is up the street. And 2 hours for Philly, for us, it's too close. Cause we'll make a New York trip every week, every day. We'll do that. Like that's a lot of Philly dudes, hustles and jobs. So whenever Jalen Hurts is brought up in conversation by another athlete and Gilly responds to it, that's not a surprise to nobody in Philly. It's not a shock. We don't even blink. What made it crazy was, and this is what nobody's saying because everybody's just talking about the overall back and forth, Cam Newton has a very strange sense of humor and demeanor. So when he goes back at Gilly, he's saying things that really don't hurt, but he's saying them like he's twisting the knife. And he actually used that analogy that I stick the knife in and I twist because this is where I come from. But when you pay attention to his response, it's corny. He made fun of somebody that as a rapper, we know did not sell a lot of records. And he brings up, well, what was his album name? Philadelphia? It didn't even scan. You think Gilly don't know that? Do you think he hasn't already addressed that 15 million different times in different ways, however he wanted to go about it, whenever people talk about his rap career? You don't think that the crazy thing that you're pointing out is that this guy that was extremely talented as an MC, and probably still is, had a low career numbers-wise, and 30 years later, he's still one of the most relevant faces out of Philadelphia in entertainment. So you're just pointing out his success when you point to something that's such an obvious thing. It's like you did research on him and you found something. You said, oh my God, I didn't know this. Nobody else knows this. No, that's not one of those things. Like, and even if it was, it wouldn't even matter as much as you think it does. So then that makes it personal though, because now we're not talking about sports anymore. So what does Gil do? Gil goes personal. And he talks about partially what I just said, but he words it differently. He says you're corny. He says you're weird. You wear football jerseys and bow ties. You're a cornball. And all I said was you never did what Jalen did. And then directly after that, Gilly has a birthday party. As always, shout out to Gilly and Wallow. These brothers show you how to take care of each other on your birthday. They have extravaganzas, cars, tricks up the sleeve. They do it every time. And what happens? Big Dom shows up to the birthday party with the Super Bowl trophy. For Big Dom.
Give him a big hand.
If you know anything about Big Dom, you know he's so real, he'll risk his Eagles job over the Eagles. He almost got in trouble a year ago. But he's a real one. He moves with a certain level of integrity. And he bought that statue through that birthday party for a reason. Because the Eagles embrace Gilly as more than a mascot. They feel like he's part of their team. They feel like he brought a lot of attention, energy, and light to the situation that got them to and through a Super Bowl. That has nothing to do with if you like his album or not. And that doesn't make him a mascot. And Gilly, at the birthday party, decided to hold the trophy and say, Cam ain't got one of these. And the first thing I thought was, of course you did. Why? Why did I think of course you did? Because that's what Gilly do. And he was lit. And he, if you really pay attention, the part that everybody's missing is the pure joy that this man has while he's holding his trophy. He's holding his trophy like he can take it home, at least for the night. He explains on everybody's platform, his own platform, how it feels to lose as an Eagles and a Sixers fan. He explains how it feels to win as an Eagles fan. And I guess a Sixers fan. Whenever applicable. But what you realize is he's consistent. He's not joking. He almost cried holding that trophy if he didn't. And then that became about Cam. So cool, he threw the shot at Cam. They gave him the mic and told him to repeat it. He did it again. He also went on his page and showed the book from the Super Bowl. And he flipped to the page where he's in the parade driving his own Eagles vehicle that was gifted to him by Wallow. I believe that's the one that Wallow gave him. And he said basically like, I'm part of the team. And then Cam went on his show again and responded. And I watched it. And the thing that makes it weird, even beyond like him being so cocky about the jokes that really don't land, is that he has a sidekick that seems to be somebody that's supposed to be a good personality and some funny personality. And his whole job is to just co-sign everything Cam says. He doesn't offer a different angle, pushback, perspective. He just goes along with the jokes every single time. And Cam stands there and smiles and looks at him like, you know I'm about to kill it, right? And then says something mediocre. And I'm going to tell you something, Cam. You from Atlanta. We know a lot of sharp ones from Atlanta. So I'm not going to put it on where you from. But where we from, getting somebody to laugh on the sideline is just getting them lined up. It ain't going to help your cause. You got to be funny. And you not funny, bro. You been the man too long. Like, you're telling jokes while trying to be humble, while trying to say something that sticks, and it's just like, You giving us that big smile and all those pauses and saying, well, this is the last time I'm address this, or this is the last thing that needs to be said, or Brother Gilly, this, that, and the third. And it's like you are prepping for a pillow fight. I thought you was about to throw a shot. But then the vlogs and the people that pick it up and react to it, they post it and they say, he destroys Gilly one last time. The final message to Gilly, he obliterates Gilly. And it's like, did you watch that video before you clipped it? Because you standing up there smiling and dipping your head and making sure your head is in camera view. And you jump on your desk and you try to get the camera view, but you fucking 6'5", trying to squat down to show that you serious, and none of the angles look right. That's goofy shit. That's what makes you look goofy. It is what it is. And this ain't no Philly thing. It's just like, I've had this conversation with people, and it's like, if you know Gilly, you know what they expect, yo. And a lot of what goes on is Art of War stuff that y'all are not acting like y'all prepared for. Y'all not prepared for it. You don't even know your opponent. You looked up his album. You know it's crazy? Gilly got about 2, 3, 4 videos that you'd have got more traction from dissing. And then you put up a video of him, supposedly him twerking, that has already been denied 3 weeks before you tried to make it a thing. And you tried to make that the basis of why he needs to calm down. As if you're going to find another picture of him in a thong or something. He ain't Oscar De La Hoya, bro. Like, what are you talking about? So that's weird, too. So, like, Cam losing, the other Cam losing, and they think they win it. And that's cool, because if everybody thinks they win it, it's all good. It's all good. Nobody gotta get hurt. Everybody walk away thinking that they win it. But it's very weird. It's very strange times right now. In a real way. In a real way. And speaking of strange times, matter of fact, let me check what my man said real quick before I get to that. Because, yeah. No, it do show how he got in his head. And the thing is, Cam is in a position where what Gilly's doing is so positive, and what he's went through as a father is so traumatic that you got to be really careful about how you even attack him. You could say things, but like talking about the album and keep trying to convince somebody, yo, this is over, we don't need to. That's really all you can really do with somebody in his position. So it's all art of war. It's all art of war stuff that like above my pay grade, but definitely within a realm of a certain vantage point that I do understand, if that makes sense. Like I never played chess, but I understand why it's different from checkers. I just don't play certain games with certain energies. But another thing that's weird going on right now. Did y'all see what happened with Drake? Drake! I need to put that on the board too. I gotta take notes. The boy and his attorneys is asking for all type of DV files on Kendrick and his relationship with Dave Free and Dave Free's relationship with the kids, and I don't know why we running federal probes based on rap beef now. I don't understand it. And it's funny because every leg that his audience stands on and tries to fight for him, he sweeps it right from under him. And they act like it don't happen. Y'all literally was saying he was doing all of this for the greater good of the industry. If this is about music, why do you care if me and my girl got in an argument and the cops got called? Why are you investigating the relationship between my business partner and friend and my family? Part of it, and y'all like to reference the 48 Laws of Power, which I think is actually overrated in a lot of ways and circumstances because it's about the business world and y'all don't even live there. But it also comes from the mind state of somebody without another source of power that builds power through these. Anyway, neither here nor there. I'm about to get deep. They speak about overwinning. Know when to stop. Know when, hold your shield. I done enough. Killed that. It's obliterated. Ain't nothing else to do here. I don't need to dance on the graves. I've never seen somebody in such a position of power and prominence over lose this way. Like super over lose. Like now you're a loser. Like now there's memes and things saying that like they gotta disassociate him from everything hip hop. Because you lost something that you manipulated over time. We all did the timeline, or listen to somebody that did the timeline of when the shots started and what darts were thrown. And then we got to a point where Kendrick said, don't tell no lies about me, I won't tell the truth about you. And everybody just started shooting. Alright, cool. You threw your grenade, I shot my missile, you bust your rifle, I let off a couple joints, I sent some people through the back door, boom, 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 bang, bang, bang. Like, now let me go get my attorney. Whoa! Hold up. It was the Wild West. Attorney, you got the sheriff of your town I got the streets in my town. Attorney. And that's what it looks like. It's the weirdest thing in the world. It's like I thought we was okay corral. Let me say that again. I thought we was okay corral. Now I'm in a Disney movie. Not Miramax. Not New Line Cinema. I ain't in Shrek. I'm in a Disney movie. And Pluto is pissed because I stepped on his toe. And he's suing. And you the boy. Icebox. Winter Man. Coolest chains. Dumbest selfies. Biggest house. All of that. You so arrogant, you take them dumbass selfies every week. You don't even get it. Then you walk through a foreign country in the middle of the night that's safer than Chestnut Hill in Philadelphia and say, yo, this how real I am. I'm outside. Oh my God, I thought I almost had to do something. No, just walk through North Philly, bro. It's alright. Walk through North Philly, taking a selfie video with your coat open, talking about, yeah, you know, I be in the trenches. That's what I want to see. You want to impress me, make fire. I really don't understand it, yo. It's the weirdest thing in the world. Like, why do you think that's cool? And why do weirdos think they could win being more weird? You gotta listen to somebody. You got to at some point. You can't keep playing these games. You can't. So, whatever, man. He's suing and he wants the investigation into everything. He want to know how much Kendrick draws cost. Like, I just don't get it, yo. I really don't understand it. I don't. More Philly news. We in between a bunch of strikes. The 33rd something of it just cleared their thing up temporarily, and we wasn't getting our trash picked up, and a lot of other services were diminished and put on pause for a couple weeks until they figured that out. And it doesn't even seem like they figured it out long term, but we happy that our trash was picked up, right? Cool. Next thing you know, septic got issues. Septic situation got so far, they started putting up signs saying, none of these routes will be available in a couple weeks. Y'all gonna have to figure something else out. I don't know how you get into school to work. And we talking about more than 5 routes. We talking about 20 plus routes that was supposed to be dissected from septic. Cool. Summertime, figure it out. No. All of this comes to a head right before school starts. So now we have 50,000 plus students that use SEPTA and related transportation to get to school and university that are affected. And when I say affected, it's not light. It's not light. It's deep. You got to walk further to get there. You got to walk further from there, and it's going to take you longer. It's like all 3 things. So that becomes a problem. Then what happens? The teachers say, we about to go on strike too. So not only are y'all playing with getting the kids to the school, if they get to the school, might not be no school. But if y'all not playing right to get them to the school, then what is we even talking about in the first place? And this is a city called Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, everything you could think of for a reason. The summers are ridiculous because everybody's outside. You about to make an excuse for all these kids not to be in school? Not even an excuse. For a lot of them, it would be a reason. For some of them, it would be an excuse to not be in school, to not have a way to school, to not be able to afford to go to school, to have to sacrifice something else to get to school. And you know what happens, right? There's a reason it's a dropout age. There's certain kids that have to get their other siblings to school. And I already know how to write, add, subtract, multiply. My sibling needs to get to school. So if it takes more effort for me to make sure that my sibling is safe at school, then I might not make it. Because when I get to school, they playing funny because I'm late. Or even if they keeping it decent, I'm missing stuff. Right? It's like, what do you, like, hell in a handbasket is an understatement. I feel bad for my city right now. And it starts from the top. We say worry about local legislation, don't worry about what's going on up there, or worry about this one first, worry about that one second, or whatever, however you want to prioritize it. But the top is horrible, the bottom is horrible, and everything in between right now, if you look at it from a perspective of somebody that's from my city. It's a fact. If you look at my city right now and what we're dealing with, it's like everybody about to be on strike. Kids not about to be in school again, which we've seen the reminiscences of what's happened since COVID, and we still reeling back from that. And I've heard a lot of children speak about it, a lot of teenagers, a lot of young adults, because that's one of those things that it affected different students at different, wherever you were, whatever age or area you were in at that time. And it definitely had an effect on them. Our kids can't waste no more time, yo. Our country as a whole, kids can't waste no more time. They need to be learning. They need to be safe. They need to have breakfast and lunch. Because a lot of them don't get it when they're not in them schools. So it's sad, man. It's sad. It's really crazy that every contract went up the same year like it's the CBA or something. In one city where these are necessities. DC 33, they do what they do in the city. Like, SEPTA, the school district. I was just part of the school district recently. I worked there. So, like, these things affect our kids. They affect my coworkers, my counterparts. It's really crazy. It's really crazy, but the biggest part is the kids, yo. I do need to listen to Turk album, by the way. I do want to listen to Turk album, but that's not like, I'm not rushing to do it, but I just want to see. I've heard him talk about it a lot, and I want to see what vibe and energy he decided to bring that was supposed to be a little different for him. And like, you gotta realize this is also someone that comes from being considered somewhat of a sidekick to like being a grown man after all of that and trying to figure out direction and pockets and how to hold the song down and put it in a position where somebody else can just come through and kick the field goal. Because that's what it comes down to when you are a vet, when you have legendary records and verses and all of that. Yeah, Turk. That's what it's about. So I'm gonna tap in and just see what vibe he on. If y'all heard it, let me know. But Young and Thuggin is alive and well, and I love to see it. But I've been in here for a little bit with y'all, man. We'll tap out. Holla at y'all next time. Next go around. Ain't no big deal. I appreciate everybody that's been paying attention, everybody that's been keeping up with me, everybody that I saw these last few weeks that have asked me about the platform and when I was going back live and what I got going on. Before I get out of here, I will say, I will say I have quite a few artists, entrepreneurs, and personalities that I need to get on the platform. They've reached out, and we scheduling it now. So as soon as I can figure all of those things out, we'll either live stream them or drop them. But you'll get a notification if you hit that bell. If you subscribe, you'll know when we do it. But yeah, it's a lot of dope things coming. We ain't holding up. We ain't slowing down. We just gonna turn up more after the summer's over, because you know what happens in summer, right? Everybody go on vacation. So we got some running around to do. We got the kissing of the babies and the events and the cookouts and all of that. But after that, we right back on y'all, man. We got y'all. I'm excited to talk to some of these people. You'll be excited to hear from them, and especially like, it's like so real that I know that once they say what they say, you're gonna be like, yo, he said I was gonna like to hear that, because it's fire. It's fire. It's a lot of dope stuff coming. But I appreciate y'all, man. Like I said, any and always, thanks for tapping in. This is Sippin' with Sammy. I am Mr. Flash, it only the one and only Sippin' with Sammy. Sam Malone, Barstool Rug. If you ain't sippin' with Sammy, you ain't sippin' right. Please get your fucking life together.
I'm sippin'.